Alrighty. Hey, I'm Pete and I help people with aches, pains, injuries. Okay. And today we're going to have a look at a part of your body called the brainstem and how we can use our understanding of this to improve aches, pains, and injuries. So, this is a very brief overview, but you're going to get some. Relax, as my shout out to Nero there. So, let's say you've got an ache or a pain in your body right now. Just what I want you to do is assess how it feels. Okay, whether it's your elbow, your wrist, your shoulder, your back, your jaw, whatever it might be. Give it a bit of a move, see how well it moves, see what kind of pain you are feeling. Okay, and I'm going to teach you some information right now, things that you can do really, really easily to help improve some of these aches and pains. Okay, and even at the end of this, from what you've learned, you will be able to have like a mini kind of exercise program that you can use for a couple of weeks to help and continue improving how something feels. So, what I want you to do, you don't need to take notes, you just watch the video again. Okay, it's not going to be long. You can take notes if you like, it's fine. Okay, leave them in the comments. I'd love to see what you find from what I teach you here. So, cranial nerves are special nerves that they don't go into the spinal cord, essentially. They go to this part of the brain called the, it's over there, the brainstem. Okay. And I've got it on a little picture back here as well. The brainstem. Okay. That's what you're seeing over on the side of the screen with the numbers on it. Okay, you have 12 pairs of cranial nerves. We're going to ignore cranial nerve 1 and 2. Okay, cranial nerve 1 is smell, and cranial nerve 2 is your vision. Okay, actually being able to see. Okay, it's the nerve attached to your retina that goes to a different part of the brain, not what we're talking about right now. So we're going to go over cranial nerves 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 3 to 12. And I'm going to teach you how to use them to improve an injury. Okay, improve an ache or a pain, make your muscles, make your body work better. So, cranial nerves, we're going to do 3, 4, and 6 as a group because they all part of eye movement. Okay, you can test your eyes individually, but for today, we're just going to do eyes both at the same time. So, hopefully, you've assessed your injury already. You've bent your knee, you've lifted your arm up, whatever it is, you've twisted your spine or bent forwards, or moved something that would normally cause you some pain. So if you haven't done that, do that now. And then we're going to assess or we're going to stimulate these nerves that communicate into this part of the brain through movement or touch. And we reassess after each thing that we've done. Okay. So the first thing to do is get your thumbs, get your arms. This is assuming you've got thumbs and arms. Okay. If you don't have thumbs and arms, if you don't have thumbs, use a finger. Okay. And if you don't have arms or thumbs, use a picture frame that you're sitting a few feet away. Okay. So picture frame, let's say it's this poster back here. I'm going to use the left one corner and another corner. Okay. Or if I'm sat in front of my bookshelf here, okay, I'm going to use one side and the other side. I just need something that is not going to move, that is a few foot apart. Okay. It doesn't have to be, we don't want it to be too far apart because it's too much for our eyes to move, and we don't want it to be too narrow because we're not moving our eyes enough. But thumbs at arm's length out roughly 20, 30, 40 degrees. Okay. It's doesn't need to be too far. Okay. Too far is too far. Okay. You'll get a feel for it. So if I'm just doing that, my thumbs are just off screen. I'm looking left and I'm looking right. And I flick my eyes left and right, left and right. And I'm just seeing if cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 are involved in my particular ache or pain. Now, what we're looking for after maybe doing 8 to 10 of those, reassess your ache or pain, whatever it is. Does it feel better? Does it move better? Does it feel a bit looser? We're going to add a little bit to that 3, 4, and 6 one. We're going to use up and down because our eyes don't just go left and right. They go up and down. They go left and right. They go do diagonally as well. Okay, you can, I'm not going to cover it, but you can do test diagonally and you can test individual eyes. So you cover one eye or you close one eye and you do just one eye. Okay, but that's going too far. Okay, so we want up and down. So I want my thumb in front of my nose, right in the midline of my body. My other thumb's coming down below, and I'm looking down and up. Okay, do a few of those, reassess your injury. So that's three, four, and six done. Next is five. Five's the trigeminal nerve, and that's largely looking at the jaw and our teeth. So to assess that one, to stimulate that nerve, we rub kind of this area of the face. Again, five or six rubs, doesn't have to be loads. Reassess your injury. Does it feel better? Again, you can check, is it the right side? Is it the left side? Okay, and maybe you'll find it's one or the other. Maybe it's both. Okay, so go with whichever one feels the best. Okay, and you want to write this stuff down. Okay, so let's say you write down three, four, and six. Okay, for eyes. Okay, because we're not assessing individual ones. Okay, three, four, and six. Fine. And then five if it's five, and then five with an R for the five right hand side. So it's this one. Okay, five with an R. Go for it. Then six we've done. Seven is our facial nerve. So you just come onto the forehead, okay? Because facial nerve, there's a can't remember exactly where it comes out. It comes out here. It comes out in a few places. Okay, it comes out here. So we just rub the forehead. Okay, it's controlling other things other than the forehead, but we need a place to rub, right? So you rub the forehead, reassess. Does it feel better? Am I doing better? Have I got more range of movement? Have I got less pain? Can I do things that I couldn't do before? Okay, then we're going to move on to eight. Okay, there's a few things we can do with eight. We're going to keep eight simple. Eight is your inner ear and hearing. So we're just going to put fingers onto that little flappy bit of skin or cartilage just in front of your ear and just cover your ear holes. Okay, just for a couple of seconds. Reassess. Okay, we can do all kinds of funny things with bouncing and moving our head into different positions and flinging our head around a little bit, but let's just keep it simple. Okay, cover your ear, cranial nerve 8. Okay, again, you can assess left or right. So right, left, and you can do a check each time. And we're going to move on to cranial nerve 9. 9 is swallowing. So we rub from under our chin down onto our throat. Just again, a few rubs down there, or you can swallow a couple of times, see how that feels, and then assess. Okay, again, could be right hand side or left hand side, which is more involved. Again, you can test that individually if you like. 9, then 10. 10 is the vagus nerve. Okay, if you want to stimulate the vagus nerve, we come in just behind the ear, a centimeter or two, and there is a little divot just behind your ear. Okay, press in there. It might be very sore. Okay, it's quite commonly very sore. And if you hit someone hard enough there, they will collapse. Okay, that's not a suggestion. Please don't do that. It's rude. Okay, a martial artist might look for some kind of strike to this area of the head because there's a strong chance you'll knock someone out doing that very quickly. You could also very, very seriously hurt them. So do not recommend, but give it a little rub, you'll be fine. Okay, give it a little rub and reassess. Okay, whatever movement was bothering you before. Cranial nerve 11 is the accessory nerve, so but it's linked in with the upper traps. So lift your shoulders up as high as you can, push them down as hard as you can, reassess your movement. Again, you can do it one side. Okay, you become like that guy who's only trained one side of his body. Okay, he looks like, I don't know, strange. I don't know why he's done it. Okay, and you do the other side, up, all the way down. Okay, you can even do it forwards and come back a little bit because it's all linked in with those muscles. And if you get those muscles moving, you're stimulating cranial nerve 11. It's fine. Okay, reassess your movement. Cranial nerve 12 is tongue. So you can push your tongue out. That's one way. Push your tongue to the left side of your mouth. Push the tongue to the right side of your mouth. Testing after each one. Push the tongue to the roof of your mouth. Push the tongue to the base of your mouth. Okay, or you can stick it out and go up and stick it out and go down, or you can even go in diagonal lines on it. Okay, assess all of them if you like. It's fine. Keep it simple. Make it as complicated as you can. It's fine. Either way. After each movement, reassess, like the movement of your tongue or whatever you've touched, reassess the body part. Now, hopefully, you've made a note of each one that made it feel better. Okay. Hopefully, it's not all of them because it'll take you a while. But pick, if it is, let's say it's more than three, pick three. If it's less than three, just do the ones that it was. And that's fine. So that becomes your exercise program. So let's say 3, 4, and 6 came up and it was to do with eyes. It was better up and down instead of left and right. And you also found cranial nerve 9, and it was the right hand side. So what you do, okay, is you go, okay, I was 3, 4, and 6. I didn't assess whether it was, which eye in particular. So I'm just going to go with both eyes. I'm going to flick my eyes left and right 15 to 20 times or until my eyes get a little bit tired. I'm going to try and keep my head still. I don't want to be looking. Okay, I want to head still, left, right, just with the eyes. And I'm going to come to the right hand side of my neck and stimulate 9. Rub, 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 rub. Maybe for 20 or 30 seconds. Maybe you find a little trigger point kind of thing in there and give that a little bit of a rub. Maybe there's something going on. In terms of trigger points, again, you don't need degrees in physics and physiotherapy and doctoring to do this stuff. Okay, give it a little press. Okay, just don't shove right in that you close your own throat, but just give it a little press. It doesn't have to be hard. Okay, you're just stimulating that nerve. That's all you need to do. Okay, and then reassess. You could do that like sets and reps in the gym. So you do 3 sets of 20 eyes. So it's 20 eyes, rub for 20 or 30 seconds, take a short break. Eyes, rub for 20 or 30 seconds. 2 times, 3 times. I wouldn't do any more than 3. Okay. Do that once a day, maybe twice a day for a week or two. Maybe if it's even fixed it during this video. Cool. Amazing. Donations, please. I would love that. And if you can't find donations on my YouTube page, because I don't know if I have them, because I don't have enough subscribers, subscribe so that you can donate, or I can send you a link so that you can donate. Anyway, so on this picture over on that side of the screen, that's what the brainstem looks like if you just chopped straight through the center of your head, straight through the middle. The bit at the back, I don't know, I suppose like the tree root kind of like looking bit, that's your cerebellum. And then the bit with the pink lines kind of coming from my side of the screen to the far side of the screen, that's your cranial nerves coming from your face or to and from your face back into the brainstem. And the brainstem is a section of, it's the very top of the spinal cord, and it's broken into 3 chunks. It doesn't really matter what they're called or what they are, not in this sense anyway, but it's broken into 3 chunks. And I've drawn a couple of lines on there. So you've got a blue line and a red line. So the red line is messages coming from your brain, essentially going straight out to your body. Okay, and the blue line is basically the same message going out to your cerebellum, which is it's a bit like a memory device. Okay, so it's sending, when you send the message, a copy of that message goes to the cerebellum, and then the message continues on down to the body. And when you receive information back from your body, let's say you've done the movement, whatever, the cerebellum then assesses, did what go, the message that went out, is that the same message that's coming back? Okay, did we do the right thing, essentially? And then what it should do is it compares, contrasts, and goes, right, we didn't do it quite right the first time. We can adjust it for the next time. So that's a very important part of the brain. Okay, and it's interlinked with all of our movements, how accurate we are at touching things, and all kinds of stuff. It's a very, very important part of the brain. Roughly half of our brain cells are there, which is super cool. But how this is working. Okay, so if we have a signal from one of our cranial nerves, so 3 through to 12, that is kind of malfunctioning in for want of a better term. Okay, it's not sending the right message to the brainstem. That can interfere with the movement pattern that we've sent from our brain down to our body. So let's say I'm walking, and walking causes me some kind of knee pain. Okay, it shouldn't, because I've got a program in my head for walking, and I run that program for walking so that I don't have to think about lifting legs and and all these kind of thousands of steps that you'd have to go through to actually walk. Okay, because you've learnt that, you learn how to walk, but there's a signal that's getting in the way from one of these nerve endings. Okay, and by stimulating that nerve by moving your eyes or opening and closing your mouth or rubbing your face, you can reduce the interference in that message so that the message from your brain and your motor cortex going down to your body doesn't get interfered with. And that can reduce pain, that can improve how you move, that can improve, all your joint angles, and it can improve your strength and flexibility just by doing this. Okay, it's really cool. Equally, on the way back up, if there's interference in one of the areas on the way back up from your body, that can then have an influence on the cerebellum and what you're feeling in your sensory cortex, because messages from your body go back up to a slightly different part of the brain. So we've got the prefrontal cortex around here. We've got the motor cortex is a strip of brain tissue around this area, and then we've got the sensory cortex, which is just behind. Okay, so that's feeling, not necessarily feeling, but getting information back from what your body has done, okay, in that action that you've done. So by addressing the brainstem is kind of the middleman. Okay, so it's influencing things on the way out and it's influencing things on the way back in from the brain to the body. And if we can deal with that, that can have quite a big impact. And if something's going on with the eyes or any of those cranial nerves, you can impact how your body moves and feels. So leave comments below. What was your ache, pain, or injury? Give it a score out of 10, where 10 was, really painful, can barely move it. And give a score at the end of how it feels now. And maybe just let me know, which cranial nerves did you find were bothering you. Okay, this is not the be all and end all of neurology or therapy or anything like that, but it can be a very helpful and very quick way of helping you to find a very simple thing to do to get you out of some pain rather than suffering, rather than taking another pill, rather than letting aches and pains influence our day and our mood. So if we can do this, very, very simple stuff, we can go about our day living a happier, healthier, stronger, more pain-free life.